So, welcome everyone. We are here with Sebastian Joseph. He is the creator and writer for neurodiversitynews.net. And I'm really excited to feature him today because he's such a young guy and he is doing some amazing things. So, I really wanted to highlight what he's got going on. So, welcome, Sebastian.
Thank you for having me.
So, Sebastian, give us a little background on yourself.
I've been born and raised in New York, upstate New York, been living there my whole life. Basically, I've been living here my whole life with my father and stepmother since I was 6, and before that I was raised by my grandmother and my dad because my mother left when I was a baby. I discovered I was autistic when I was 10. That's when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. My parents basically, I remember the first day that we found out, they had like a children's book that said that the title was Asperger's, huh? And it was basically just like showing what Asperger's syndrome was in like a children's book. And it kind of made a lot of sense because the pictures are just of like the boy like not being near anyone else, like he kind of being away from the crowd. And that was basically me. Growing up, I was always just away from everybody else because I wanted friendship, but I didn't know how to get it. I didn't really know how to make friends until I was about 10. And yeah, growing up, basically the way I was raised was to hide that I was autistic. So I almost didn't really tell anyone unless I really, really needed. And in college, that's where kind of things just shifted completely because from what I had been told by when I was in high school by different people like alumni who were going to college, they were telling me that in college, you could act however you want and do whatever you want, and people will still respect you. And yeah, so when I was in college, I would just mask a lot to the point where I just wasn't myself anymore. And because I didn't think that the real Sebastian would be appealing enough to people. And that's when, I got very, shunned by people. It was a little hard, and it made me very depressed for a long time. And then sophomore year was when I founded a girl that I dated for 3 years who was also autistic. And she was very different from other autistic girls from any other autistic people I had known up to that point, because the only other autistic people I knew were like me, people who worked and were in school and all those things, like lower support needs people, so to speak. So she had some higher needs than I did, and it was a little bit hard to figure it out because I had just never been around someone like that before. It started to get a little overwhelming for me because I didn't know how to help her. So I just kind of left and wanted to stay friends. And after that, that was in November of last year, and that's when I started really do research, because what prompted that was I had a huge argument with my stepmother because she had compared autism to cancer. I said, well, why do you say that? It was because it's a disease and it needs to be cured. My little cousin, she's still in diapers and she's a teenager and she can't talk. And I had no idea that people like that even existed because I had just been sheltered my whole life. So I had no idea. I always thought that it was the only autistic people like me or like my ex-girlfriend. And yeah, so after that, that argument made me furious, saying that we need to be cured. So that's when I went to just research nonstop, just about autistic people in general and the way they're treated. And that's where I founded the neurodiversity movement.
So are you saying that the woman who raised you basically has she been your stepmom for a long time?
Yeah, since I was 6.
I'm really sorry that she said that to you.
I'm a grown up now, so I can kind of not be as affected by it, I suppose. I don't have to live with it, so to speak. I can do my own things.
When you were in college, did you find that, did you ever stop masking, or did you just continue to mask throughout college? Did you ever find acceptance for who you were in college, or find some good friends?
So freshman year was where I really masked, where I just was not Sebastian anymore. After that, after freshman year was kind of where I just was very bitter and angry. So I just couldn't really be friends with anyone because I was just pissed, like very disillusioned, like being in college. And so no one really wanted to be my friend anyway because I started to think people just didn't like me because I was autistic, and I kind of blamed it on that. After graduating, like I graduated in 2018, so I was already out of college by the time I founded the neurodiversity movement. But yeah, but before, while I was in college, I didn't know about neurodiversity or the other autistics, like the higher support needs people. So I still was just kind of
Did they have any type of neurodiversity groups or anything in your college that you knew of, or that you would be able to connect with other people? Or
not really no, but even if it did exist, I wouldn't have done it at that time just because I was very ashamed of my autism. 'Cause I kind of blamed it for what had happened to me in college. But now, looking back, I'm able to like accept it and realize that it's just an intrinsic part of me, and not something that I can change or really want to change. I would not be who I am without it.
when Laderick came on, did you see his interview?
I have not. No, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like, so he has a book called Empowering Students with Hidden Disabilities, and he talks about the path to disability pride, and it comes with connecting with other disabled people. And it sounds like you didn't have any of that growing up. In his book, it talked about, like, on the way to disability shame is like isolation and not finding other people who are, having a similar experience. And it sounds like exactly what you went through.
Yeah, because like growing up, my parents' approach was, "You have Asperger's. You are not autistic. You're not one of them. You're better. You can do what they can't." I don't like to see it like that because even my ex-girlfriend I was with, there were things she could do that I couldn't do. She could keep friendships way longer than I could, for example. She also could sew, which I can't do for the life of me. She could draw amazingly, which I also cannot do. Like, she's very good at like just keeping people upbeat. She's very good at a lot of things, that I've always struggled with. So to say that I am better than other autistics is just not fair to them because it just disregards what they can do.
Yeah, I remember we talked before, and you said that you were diagnosed with Asperger's, but you did not say that you had Asperger's. You say that you're autistic, and that was because that of your experiences and how your struggles and things that you were going through were not validated because you were supposed to be, Asperger's is supposed to be, so much easier, and they didn't validate any of your struggles because you were just supposed to be able to push through that, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there are things that I struggle with that other people share. Very hypersensitive with sound and taste and smell. Like, I can't eat condiments. I can't eat a coleslaw. I uh, can't eat cheese if it's cold. A lot of things. And also, like growing up, I used to do like echolale. Even today, sometimes I'll still like just recycle phrases that I've heard if I can't think of other things to say.
Tell me how you got started with neurodiversitynews.net.
So it actually was the idea of a friend of mine, and because I was just talking about just writing a lot, she was like, "Well, why don't you create your own website and put up your writing on there, and try to maybe, since you're a journalist, try to combine it with that." And I was like, "That's a genius idea."
Right?
So I did, and like the main focal point of the site is that I basically interview someone every week, like a different activist or advocate or ally. Like you were one of the people I interviewed. That was a great one, and a bunch of other people. And yeah, that's kind of what stands out. And also my blog section, although there are not a lot. Like I prefer quality over quantity with that because the stuff that I researched that I wrote in that section is just some of it took me like months worth of research to do.
Hmm.
So I put a lot of like labor. So whenever I post that stuff, it's like it's a lot of hard work. And
Yeah, it is a lot of work. Yeah.
and it's very hard for like one person to sit through, like, to read all that stuff, because not only is it very long, but also like it can be, very hard to just read, just because it covers a lot of abuse of autistic people and like autism speaks, for example. And also I did one on neurotribes versus in a different key, analyzing both those books. So yeah, a lot of heavy subject matter.
And that was the book that is the counter to Steve Silberman's Neurotribes, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's the anti-neurotribes. It covers like almost all of the same material, but it's from like the modern parent.
That's a lot of draining work, because it was draining just to read Neurotribes, period. And then to see another book come out to just kind of invalidate everything that book was talking about, that's really draining.
Yeah, my key is I try not to emotionally attach myself to what I write and read, because otherwise it will drain me.
What is your mission for neurodiversitynews.net? Like, what do you want to get out there? Who do you want to reach?
So basically, the mission of Neurodiversity News is to inform people who follow the movement, which is why I've interviewed all these people, to get people to know like who these people are, their amazing accomplishments, and to just get their names out there to be heard and seen. That's the main primary goal. And also the blog section, of course, is to expose different matters that people don't often think about, like Autism Speaks. So it's the main goal is to inform people more than anything else.
Give me a couple of your favorites besides me, of people that you've interviewed.
Definitely Steve Silberman. That was definitely a highlight of like one of the best that I've done, because we had a very long conversation, a very nice conversation. I got to hear different things that were not in the book that were very informative. And it was the only interview I did where it was like over the phone. So that like was definitely different too, because all my other interviews I do like over email.
Yeah, he's a great talker. He's so easy to talk to, and he just keeps going and going. You get all the content. You just keep writing and writing and writing.
Another one I really liked was you, of course.
Thank you.
Because you were the first ally that I did. Also, Eve Ryland was another good one.
Eve is badass. Really badass.
Yep,
I love watching Eve on, I think it's on, I don't know if it's on YouTube or maybe it's on Facebook Live or something, but Eve is super badass.
Is internationalbadassactivist.org.
Did your dad know how your stepmom treated you? Did he know that she said those things to you?
Well, yeah, but kind of doesn't really do anything about it. But, it is what it is.
Do you feel, I mean, I don't want to go into like completely all of your business or anything, but do you feel like your dad felt the same way? Or was he just like, there she goes again, talking?
It would pretty much be the latter, because I'm quite certain both my father and biological mother are autistic, because I display traits that the both of them do. So that's very probable. And my father, growing up, he didn't really demand that much. Like, for example, if his friends would come over, like, he wouldn't, like, make me, like, have to interact with them or shake their hand, make eye contact.
So he was just naturally supportive, yeah.
Yeah, and also, like, with my food sensitivities, he never made me try any foods that I didn't like. Like, for example, since I can't eat spaghetti sauce because of the texture, he'll, like, make me macaroni with butter instead. It's those little things. And he never, like, judged me for just, like, doing strange things. It just, he just let me be me for the most part. He only really would intervene if I displayed behaviors that were just problematic or just got in the way of, growing up.
Tell me who you have coming up on neurodiversitynews.net. What highlights do you have coming up?
So the next interview I have coming up is Jennifer Tid, who is one of the leaders of the Alliance Against Restraint and Seclusion.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, Jennifer is doing such great work. We did have her on in one of our smaller groups this summer, and she is so passionate, and she knows like all of the facts and figures, but she is definitely she is passionate. Well, that's interesting. Anybody else?
So how I do it is, like, after each interview, I just message someone else. So, like, I don't have like a list. I just, after each interview, I just choose, the next person.
Did your interview come out with Cal yet?
Yes. Yeah, my interview with Cal is up there.
Sebastian interviewed Cal Montgomery and he's a board member of ASAN, right?
Yep.
Yeah, one of my personal heroes.
Yeah, his blog is great, very eye-opening.
Do you have like a wish list? Like if there was like a unicorn person that you would love to, or people that you would love to interview, but you haven't been able to yet, who would they be?
Definitely Ari Neumon, Zoe Gross, Julia Bascom. Those are the main three that I definitely think about a lot. Right? I followed ASAN's work for quite a while, or I started the ad.
Someone says a lot of parents feel the neurodiversity movement is only for Askies. How would you respond to that?
A lot of the people I know who follow the neurodiversity movement are actually high support needs. Like Cal, for example, needs one-to-one care and has gone through non-speaking periods that covered years. So there are people in the movement who definitely fit that criteria of what some call low functioning, what we call high support needs. And also Amy Sequenza is another great one. Mel Baggs, who passed away a few months ago. We acknowledge that it's a disability, but we're trying to create acceptance for said disability.
That's a good answer. Let me see. The neurodiversity movement was created by people with ID who felt unheard. Yeah, I think that those parents, you know what, y'all didn't ask me. Y'all asked Sebastian. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in today, but I think that that's a great answer. Hey, T. Do you know who T is? You got to interview T from Unmasked.
Yep. I know T. Her and I have talked before.
Yeah. Definitely hit T up for an interview because that would be an awesome one. T hung out with us this summer as well in one of our groups. Let's see. Oh, T said that she loved that. Awesome. Yeah. I love Unmasked on Instagram and on Facebook. A lot of good insights to share. If you could give one piece of advice for parents of newly diagnosed children, what would it be?
Well, basically, if your child gets diagnosed, what I would say is, don't stress. Go at your child's pace and let them develop naturally as they age. I'm very thankful for my father for having done that to me, not having pressured me too much. Only when it came to just developing and growing up and just getting good grades, any parent would. So yeah, let them be their authentic self.
That is the best answer ever. Just don't stress out.
Yep, because doctors will make it will tell you, your child has autism. They're going to need care the rest of their life. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. They're kids. They have their whole lives ahead of them to grow and develop. Everybody develops. They learn things as they go, no matter if you're autistic or not.
That's the most simplistic answer I've ever heard, and it's the best answer ever.
Thank you.
Just don't stress. Just don't stress. Because you're right. The professionals will, try to stress you, and in the schools will try to stress you, and if they don't get it right now, if they don't, if you don't do all of these things right now, what will happen? I have no idea. Nobody's ever said what would happen, but it's definitely important that you do stuff now. It is all crap.
Yeah. It's more so just organizations trying to make money, the ABA industry, and that's what it comes down to. It's all just mine for them.
Someone in one of my summer groups to this past summer said to me that if your child isn't broken, then how will they make money trying to sell you stuff to fix them? And I was like, it just was so mind blowing to me. And you see that. You see the money, the insurance money, all of that stuff play into it. And it was mind blowing to me that a person said that. You know, if they're not broken, how will they sell you anything to fix your kid?
Exactly.
And I get emails and emails and emails like all day long for my blog of people and companies wanting to come in and advertise on my site for, you know, to sell things to parents.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. I'll be like, no, thanks. I'd rather be broke.
A lot of quacks out there trying to just sell their new autism product.
T said, and I'd say it's okay to have those feelings to process, but don't become engulfed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. I mean, it is overwhelming. I wish that the process wasn't as overwhelming, and let's fix that.
Being autistic, like, of course you're going to face uncertainties. Like when you're autistic, facing uncertainties is very difficult. So, you know, it can be understandable, you know, if parents face uncertainties when they get diagnosed at first, but just like don't stress out, because the more you stress, like the worse it'll be on your kid.
Right. Go to the park.
Yeah.
Go play. It is all crap. Yes, it is. The window, such a pile of crap.
Oh yeah, like the development window.
Yeah, like the milestones and follow the money. Sharon said it's the ableism that's built into capitalism. It really is. How would you describe disability to a child?
Yeah, well, my parents wanted me to try to do things as much like them as possible, so it's kind of hard to say from my own perspective, but I would try to make it as compassionate as possible for them. I would just say, you know, you're going to be a little different compared to other kids, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are perfect the way you are. And you may be different, but just remember that you are unlike many other people, and that's a great thing to have, to be unique.
I'm really excited that you came on today and that we were able to highlight the work you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for joining us. But yeah, I think that the work you're doing is just amazing. And the fact that you're so young, you just have so much more room to grow. And I can't wait to see what you have coming up next and after that and after that. So thank you for coming on. And I mean, it's just incredible. Like what you have accomplished in just like 6 months worth of time. And you've accomplished so much already. So thank you for coming on, Sebastian. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And I'll see y'all around in the book club. Happy reading.